Hey, it's Mr. Scoppa here with an update for Friday, September 25th. Well, we made it to the last full week of September. We made it through, which is great. I saw a lot of you last night here at Open House, which was amazing. Actually, last night was one of the best turnouts I've ever had for Open House. So thank you to everybody that came and saw me and chatted with me. I'm sorry it was a little warm in the classroom. There's not much I can do about that. You brought home salt dome maps. You saw some poems with some ideas from the kids about what they're thinking and what they're feeling at the beginning of 4th grade, because they may not always talk to you about those things. So it's good to kind of get an inside look on what they're thinking. So last night at Open House, I talked about the fact of today we are going to be starting the Wordly Wise, and it looks like this book will be coming home today. This actually happens to be Brooks. So it comes home like this, and inside it's all set up the same way each and every time. So today we are going to be looking at Lesson 1, and Lesson 1 has a bunch of words in it, and every section starts off with the words with their definitions and their parts of speech and things like that. And then it goes to finding the meanings, and for all of these they need to go back and reference those words so that way they get that to help them out. This will help with a little bit of light balance. And then as you go through, there's different parts, just finding the right words, and what we're going to do is with all of these lessons today we're going to be modeling them as far as how to answer these types of questions here in class. And with all of the kids today, I'm still here. I just rolled over off to the side. You haven't lost me yet. There's not a problem with your TV set. Oh, look at that, I'm back. So today we're going to be giving all the kids this to come home so you can have an idea as far as how these work. So it's up at the top it says example how assignments are to be completed. So this is a photocopy of Lesson 1, and so when you go through, there's all the words, and then what there are is there's little notes at the top of each section, like this one says, remember that sentence starts with a capital letter. Also a reminder that it starts with it ends with a punctuation mark. The kids have all figured that out and been talked to about that. And there's parts of the directions that are underlined to help you out and going through. So we've shown how each one is set up, and including some helpful hints on some of these to help you along so you can see what they should be doing. So if they have questions, you can kind of walk through them with that. Now, that brings me to a thing that I talk about with the idea of going through and with writing. You'll notice that on the reading logs that there's directions up at the top that they should be using capital letters, things should be spelled properly, and things should be underlined. It should be the complete title. The kids should be the ones that are writing those in on their reading logs, and it's important that the kids are the ones that are actually writing their work and actually doing their work. That's one of the learning styles or ways that they can learn those things. But in their agendas also they have what's called the no excuses of writing, and they are posted here in the classroom, and I do reference them. So here I'll put them up so you can see them. So for all writers, we expect that they use their neatest handwriting, and they write their words correctly 100% of the time. So that means that if the word is there on the sheet, they should be spelling it correctly. For all of our 3rd graders, we expect that they use their first and last name on their papers, and so when a student hands me a paper with just their first name, I hand it back to them and I say no excuses, number 1. I is always capitalized, proper nouns are capitalized, sentences begin with capital letters, sentences end with a punctuation mark. The holes are on the left side of their page. If they hand it to me and the page is upside down or backwards, I hand it back and say no excuses, number 6. That they line up their writing with the margin, that red line that goes along the side. And then for 4th grade, we also expect that they indent the start of the paragraphs, the sentences are complete, and that they use the proper Pell Mac Intermediate School heading on their paper. Now, you're saying to yourself, what exactly is the Pell Mac School Intermediate School heading? And so I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to pull out an agenda from one of the student desks just so I can show this to you. So if you haven't seen it, you should see these daily with the agendas. And if you open up towards the beginning of the agenda, it is right there on page 4. you will see all the same things of the no excuses that I just talked about on that page for each grade level. And then down there on the bottom there's a sample page that shows how they should be setting up their papers if they are writing their heading on a piece of paper with their full name, their date, their subject, and their assignment. So that way, you know, we kind of get them into a way of setting that up each time. Now, at open house last night, some of you were talking to me about AR books, and so I figured I would show you a little something that is going to help you out for figuring out the level of books and so forth like that. So I have pulled up a website that I like to use that is very helpful for the kids, and that website is called arbookfind.com. Now, I will put that link right in my email, so it will be below the link for this video in the email. And it's arbookfind.com, and when you open it up, it brings you to a page that looks like this. I'm trying to be able to see this and do it at the same time. I always tell the kids, and even for you, just click on where it says student and click submit. And then you'll come to here, and so you can look it up. So let's say that the book is The Maze of Bones. And you type in the book title into the little box and hit enter. It will give you the title of the book. It will tell you the author. It'll say the quiz number, which don't have to worry about that. But right here in the middle, it says BL 4.3. So that means that is a 4.3 level book. So that way you can go through and you can check the levels on books to make sure the kids are reading the appropriate level books. I talked with all of them about their reading level, and I have that on file. So if you have a question on that, drop me an email, send me a note through the class dojo, so that way I can get you that book level. That's something that we'll test multiple times throughout the school year, so that way we can kind of track where they are and how they're going with that. Now, I just talked about the fact that we are testing for different levels of reading. One of the things that we're testing is fluency, so the kids are reading a passage out loud to me. All of them are reading 3 passages. They have a minute, and we track how many words they read and how many errors they make and things like that. We've already done some math computation and some math problem-solving problems where I'm going to be able to kind of get a level, and all these numbers are going to appear on the report card with where their targets should be, so that way you have an idea of where they are right now as far as where they are for meeting those goals and being on grade level, and so that'll kind of give you an idea there. Other things that are going to be coming up, we're going to be doing our map testing, and that's on the computer. We're going to be doing that for both language arts and for math, so that way we'll get an indicator score and we can see where they're growing to and from, because we can compare it with their 3rd grade score, and we'll take that test multiple times throughout the school year on the computer, so that way we can see where their growth is, and that number should be going up, and see where the target is for an average 4th grader nationwide. It's not just a New York State, it's not just a PELMAC, but you'll see a nationwide number of where they should be reaching. So we do have a little bit more testing coming up just so we can kind of get an idea where the kids are. And for those students that did take the state assessment, it's either come home or it's going to be home rather soon, is going to be your state assessment scores from 3rd grade, just to kind of give you an idea of where things were there. And with that, I hope you have a good weekend. It's going to be a nice one, it looks like, which is always a good thing. And we'll see you next week.